What kind of player sticks out to you the most on your team?
On my team?
Yeah.
Players that have confidence and swagger, because when you feel like you can do something, you put your mind to it. That's the type of player that'll like run through a brick wall for you, and they'll get a job done in the bottom of the ninth or the bottom of the seventh. So I really look for players that have like that swagger and confidence on the field, and that on the field leader. But you can do that by example too. So I really look for someone with confident actions or positive actions.
What is the rarest quality you find amongst your players?
Communication skills. All you guys are used to cell phones now. I need players that can talk and really good communicators. That's key. That's becoming a lost art.
When do you find is the hardest time for a player to stand out and lead?
When it's being between being cool and doing what's right. I think that's hard, especially for a high schooler. Everyone wants to be cool and they want to fit in, but sometimes fitting it or doing what's right is the time to lead, and that's going against being cool sometimes. Like I said earlier about the communication piece, right? Sometimes people don't want to communicate because they're afraid that what they'll say will make them look uncool. But the cool thing to do is just to do what's right.
What is the most important trait to have when leading a team?
Heart. You gotta be able to have sympathy and empathy for your teammates, man. One thing that I was really proud of my whole baseball career was I was always a good teammate. I always try to elevate my teammates. I always try to celebrate their own victories, and I think that just allowed me to stay in the game so much longer. Like, one of the biggest things when I got released from the Orioles, all my teammates from the year before were really actually sad because we created bonds. So I think being able to really pull your teammates together and be a leader in that way is big time to have.
Would you say you see quality leadership on your team?
Definitely, on all 10 of our teams, I would say there's quality leadership, either from the coaches or from players. My team specifically, I have my 11U, and our coaching staff is really good. And then with my 16U, our players are starting to turn into really quality leaders too. I could go on and on all the teams. I feel like on the 16U, Coolman's team, I feel like you're a quality leader. I would say Vito's one. That's just to name a few. I think all you guys have leadership qualities. I think all you guys are going to be future leaders of the world. And that's why I push so hard for all you guys to go to college and get your education, bro.
Was there a role model that you base your leading skills and your teams off of growing up or now?
Yeah, my dad. My dad is one of the best leaders that I know. He never led like a big group, but he led our family. I think his mindset is what I try to model the most off of it. He's super positive, super knowledgeable, and he always puts people into a good light. So I think my dad's the best leader I've ever been around, hands down.
What or who made you start coaching?
I started coaching because of the kids. I came in here and I wanted to change one life. If I've done it, that's to be determined. That's for people to determine. That's not for me. But the kids really drew me in because you guys opened up to me. You guys let me know, your thoughts, and that a good coach is needed in the area, and that's why I try to wake up and do every single day. So I can really say like the kids and the athletes are what drove me in here. Would you
have considered yourself as a leader growing up, and has that contributed to how you coach now?
I would say I was a leader, but it's because I had other leaders. I would look at people like MLK, JFK, back in history. I always wanted to be like one of the great conquerors growing up, so I paid a lot of attention to history, and that's why I think you see some of the best documentation of the best leaders. So I would try to kind of follow their lead Baseball players wise, I would try to be like Albert Pujols a lot growing up. You know, realistically, so I would say I had leadership qualities for sure.
Did you ever have leaders or peers growing up that helped you as a kid playing sports?
Oh yeah, I had some teammates at Fords and Wild South when I went there. Right away, when I was a sophomore, AJ Walkenhorst came up to me and was like, showed me the ropes. It was like, hey, this is what you gotta do to be successful. You know, so I always had good teammates. I had some in pro ball, the major leaguers, so I got to meet like Chris Davis, Adam Jones, Manny Machado. Like those guys would come back down and say, hey, this is what you got to do to be successful. And they were always super open and honest, you know, about how to be successful, you know. And the biggest thing is they would say is like, just, you know, be yourself.
Do you have a coach or a player that you try and emulate?
I studied a lot of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant growing up. A lot of LeBron, Muhammad Ali. So those were like my top 4. Albert would have been 5. You know, I would say I would try to follow a lot of qualities out of all those guys. Michael with his competitiveness, Kobe with his mindset, LeBron with his physical dominance, Muhammad Ali is having a movement, and Albert with, you know, just being strong in your faith, in symbolizing good character all the time.
Is there a mistake you made as a kid that would make you that you wouldn't want to go back and change to make you a better coach now? Or?
Yes. Mistakes that I made was I was a knucklehead, bro. Like I would try to get into fights when I was younger, and that's why I preach so hard now. Not to get in fights is just dumb. If you feel like fighting, pick up a book, pick up a pencil. You know, it's just certain things happen in my life that taught me, you know, there's a lot better ways than to handle something with your fist. So I learned how to kind of like militarize my brain to talk to people about my situations and their situations, and now that allows me to always put people, I leave every single situation educated. You know, I no longer enjoy being ignorant. You know, so that's my biggest thing that I would use for a coaching tool is there's no reason for me to go back there. You know, just make sure you say clean up top.
What was your favorite moment as a coach?
My favorite moment as a coach has probably been last year when we were going on a span of getting guys signed. We had a guy that got cut 2 years in a row, his junior year and his senior year. And he came back and got signed and ended up getting a really good scholarship over to MOBAP. And that was a really cool moment to be here and see it, because he went through the gutter and trying to get to the peak, which is college, you know. Anything after that is a blessing, but I try to get all you guys at college, but it was cool to see him go through that struggle and become a young man and hustle.
What makes you frustrated the most as a coach?
When kids tell themselves they can't do something. Me, when I was a player, I could do everything. I thought I was Superman. I thought I had an S on my chest, and that's how you should be as a player. As a coach, you get a little bit more humble. You realize, you know, you can't do everything, and you delegate and help a little bit more. But as a player, I need you to come in, and I need you to think you can do anything, so that we can accomplish everything. You know, don't come in here timid. Don't come in here not sure about yourself. That's my biggest pet peeve is you should know that you're the most talented person that you know.
All right, this ties in with the last question, but how do you keep your composure during like kids getting down on themselves?
Me personally, I've been in every situation that most athletes come in or go through. You know, obviously life's always going to throw you some new ones, but understanding, and I was very aware of those situations. You know, so with me, I've had to deal with them myself, so I try to just offer advice on any platform or anything to where people can just grab something and take a little piece and just be able to help allow that to let you cope with it a little bit, you know.
Do you see yourself now as a positive influencer for your team?
I try to be. Like I said, for me to self-claim things, that's not cool. So that's got to be for the boys to say, you know.
I'd say so.
Yeah. So I mean, but I definitely try to be every day. That's my motivation every day. Is I try to wake up and make sure that you guys have a good role model. Not to say that I want to necessarily be your role model, but I try to make sure that if I am one, I'm the right one.
Would you say you have more kids that lead or more kids that follow on your team?
I would say we have more leaders. You know, I think we have a group of leaders. They follow right now because they don't know that they're leaders yet. But when you really look at history, every great leader had to follow somebody. So I think there's a stage in everybody's career where you have to be a follower of somebody. You know, so I think I have a ton of future leaders. And you'll see over the next, 4 to 8 years, and that's gonna be dope. It's gonna be the dope part of all this is when you guys all start graduating college and going to college.
All right. Tying back to the last question, when you said you have mostly followers, or you have mostly leaders, but some followers. Would you want to change that? Would you want anything to change?
No, because I think everybody's at the stage in life they need to be at. I think if people are following right now, they're learning how to lead. So you have to follow somebody. So I wouldn't change anything. I'm just gonna keep teaching, and when it's their time to lead and they're ready, they'll go.
Do you think everybody should be a leader?
I think at some point everybody will be a leader in their life. Yes.
All right, this is the final question. Do you have any advice that you can give to us student athletes that are going to be seeing this presentation, going to college, and just any advice in general?
Yeah, my piece of advice is dream big. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. Have a plan. Write out your plan. A lot of the time I got in trouble because my plan was in my head and I couldn't lay it out for people. The older that I got, I started writing it down. But when I was younger, I always knew I was going to be a professional athlete, and I set myself up to go one way. They say don't put all your eggs in one basket. I put all my eggs in one basket, and because I set it up one way. I knew that if I worked out like a professional athlete, at some point I was going to be a professional athlete. So you got to know what you got to take control of your own destiny, and keep pushing it that way. And don't take no for an answer. Find another way if that's what your dream is. If your dreams change, don't think that your dream is gonna just be this one thing. It's okay if your dream changes. Like mine went from filling the stadium with my play to coaching. And that's my new arena. I might branch out as I get older. We'll see, but that's my biggest point of influence right now is coaching.